This is DD India and you are watching Express News, a program where we bring you top 100 news of the day. I am Tanvi Taneja. Let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi planted a kadam sapling at his residence in New Delhi on Friday. It was a special gift from King Charles III of the United Kingdom. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi received a telephonic call from the Prime Minister of Greece, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, on Friday. Sharing warm wishes on Prime Minister Modi's birthday, Prime Minister Mitsotakis conveyed Greece's support for the early conclusion of a mutually beneficial India-EU free trade agreement. A Sikh delegation met Prime Minister Modi on Friday and submitted recommendations for the safekeeping and dignified public display of the revered Sikh relic Jor Sahib. Posting on X, PM Modi said that holy relics will inspire future generations to follow the path of courage, righteousness, justice and social harmony shown by Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji. India has reacted to Saudi Arabia's recent defence agreement with Pakistan, saying New Delhi expects that Riyadh will keep in mind the mutual interests and sensitivities. On Pakistan and the fight against cross-border terrorism, MEA spokesperson Ranveer Jaiswal called up on the world to intensify efforts to combat terrorism. During the 37th Steel Mahakumbh, Minister for New and Renewable Energy Prahlad Joshi on Friday announced that the country has crossed 250 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel power capacity. The minister further added that India is firmly on track to reach 500 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030. India's Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan held a meeting with representatives of all organizations related to tractors and agricultural mechanization regarding GST reforms on agricultural machinery on Friday. India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology unveiled the logo and key flagship initiatives for the India AI Impact Summit 2026. Sharing details about India's growing AI journey, Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said that currently India boasts of 30 data and AI labs across the nation. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Friday interacted with the brave veterans and families of the fallen heroes of the 1965 war at an event organised by the Indian Army in New Delhi to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee of India's victory over Pakistan 60 years ago. Speaking at the East Tech Symposium 2025 in Jharkhand's Ranchi, Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan emphasised India's quest for indigenous tech and self-reliance in defence. India got re-elected in the Asia-Pacific Group of Postal Operations Council and Council of Administration of the Universal Postal Union for 2025 to 2028 in the elections held at the 28th UPU Congress in Dubai. Union Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia said that India continues to drive innovation, advance financial inclusion and champion sustainability in the postal sector. 10th Ayurveda Day will be celebrated on 23rd of September at the All India Institute of Ayurveda, Goa. In a press conference, Ayush Minister Pratap Rao Jadhav said that it is a matter of pride for everyone as India's traditional medicinal system is reaching new heights on the global stage. India's Railways operates the first special train from Budgam to Katara to facilitate passengers amid the Srinagar-Jammu highway closure. The service will run daily till October 3rd this year. India's ambassador to the United States, Vinay Mohan Kwatra, met US Under-Secretary of War Elbridge Colby at the Pentagon. The two bureaucrats reviewed the current agenda and charted actionable path on several initiatives. Kwatra noted that he values Colby's deep knowledge, perspective and consistent support for India-US strategic partnership, while the Secretary of War said that he looks forward to elevate the critical defence cooperation with India. Indian equity indices ended on a negative note on Friday. At close, Sensex at the BSE fell 388 points to settle at 82,626. Nifty at the National Stock Exchange dropped 97 points to close at 25,327. At the Forex market, Indian rupee closed 9 paise higher at 88 rupees 11 paise against the US dollar. On the multi-commodity exchange, gold prices stood at 109,357 rupees per 10 grams. Silver prices stood at 128,260 rupees per kilo. Bank of Japan held rates at 0.5% to start exchange-traded fund sales. It kept its short-term interest rate at 0.5% amid political and economic concerns. Bank of Japan will begin selling its holdings of exchange-traded funds and real estate investment trusts, reducing funds acquired during previous monetary easing. Oil prices dropped on Friday. Brent crude was down 41 cents at $67.03 a barrel, while US crude lost 0.9% to $63.03 a barrel. Microsoft plans to build a second massive artificial intelligence data center in Wisconsin, US, bringing its spending in the state to over $7 billion. The new project will join a $3.3 billion data center in Mount Pleasant in the southeastern corner of the state. Microsoft President Brad Smith said, "It is an extraordinary thing that the company is growing with jobs and computing." On to international news now. Heavy explosions were heard over Gaza City on Friday morning, with fireballs lighting up the sky over the Palestinian enclave. Israeli military urged Gaza City residents to flee southwards. Israel has shut the only gateway between the Israeli-occupied West Bank and Jordan. The move comes a day after a driver bringing aid from Jordan to Gaza killed 2 Israeli military personnel. The United States vetoed a draft United Nations Security Council resolution for the 6th time that demanded an immediate, unconditional and permanent ceasefire in Gaza with no restrictions in aid delivery in Palestinian enclave. The Israeli military said that a drone launched from the east crashed in the southern city of Eilat. The Yemen's Houthi group claimed responsibility for the drone attack, saying in a statement that Eilat will remain under constant targeting. Spain supported the EU Commission's proposal to freeze trade agreements on Israel. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said that his country's interest in Israel's actions in Gaza stemmed from geopolitical and human rights concerns. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on Friday said that he has put forward a fair and balanced nuclear proposal to European powers to prevent the return of UN sanctions on Iran. Canada and Mexico signed a deal to deepen economic ties as Mark Carney held talks with Mexican President in his 2-day visit to the Mexico City. Mexican President Sheinbaum expressed optimism about the future of the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, stating that she believes the agreement will endure despite Trump's push to renegotiate it in favor of US manufacturers. The European Commission has proposed a 19th package of sanctions against Russia to member states, the Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen said on Friday. 11 people have been reported dead in Pakistan's southwest province of Balochistan in multiple blasts. The attack was claimed by separatist group the Baloch Liberation Army. Nepal's new interim government, led by Prime Minister Sushila Karki, staged a military parade to mark the country's Constitution Day. Karki, a former Chief Justice, assumed office after deadly anti-corruption protests in the country. Taiwan's space chief Wu Zhongshin warned that the island must launch its own satellites soon to secure communication in the event of a conflict with China. Thousands of state miners marched in La Paz, Bolivia, protesting the invasion of mining areas. This comes amid a long-standing conflict between state-owned companies and private cooperatives. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un oversaw a test of an attack drone and emphasized the greater use of artificial intelligence and military technology, according to state media. South Korean Foreign Minister Cho Hyun said that the government will address issues faced by South Korean workers with US visas before moving forward with a $350 billion investment deal. Applicants seeking to join US President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown lined up outside a US Department of Homeland Security job fair held in a convention center in Provo City of Utah. The Confederation of Indigenous Nationalities of Ecuador has called for an immediate and indefinite national strike in protest of the elimination of subsidy on diesel. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced that the National Armed Forces will visit 5,000 communities to train residents. This move follows the US deployment in the Caribbean, which Maduro views as a threat. EU finance and economy ministers and delegates arrived in Copenhagen for an informal meeting on Friday, discussing several key issues, including frozen Russian assets. And a demonstration in Paris starting at Place de la Bastille culminated in clashes between police and protesters. Authorities deployed 6,200 officers across the French capital. We're heading for a short break here on Express News. We'll be back in just a bit. Stay tuned to DD India.
The biggest problems can often feel too complex to solve, beyond our capacity, or just impossible. But that is till we find a solution, and once we do, everything seems simpler.
This is the micro drip irrigation system, which in fact saves 60 to 70% of water while watering a tree.
We are looking for on the land today with the natural plants are around 1/3 of a ton of nickel per hectare.
It is readily available. We can get it from the surrounding area, and the local farmers also benefit. If we use waste from their sugarcane crops, they get something out of it too.
By helping hedgehogs, I make a small attempt to compensate for the injustice in this world.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's resume. Rescue and relief operations are underway after a devastating cloudburst hit Chamoli's Nandanagar in Uttarakhand. Rescue operation is underway. 2 bodies have been recovered while search operations continue for 6 missing persons across Kunturi and Durma. Over 45 homes, several shops and 15 cow sheds have been damaged. A cloudburst struck a village in Nichar area of Himachal Pradesh's Kinnaur district. Heavy rain washed away vehicles and damaged several homes, forcing residents to seek shelter in nearby forests. Deadly floods have once again ravaged South Sudan's Unity region. The latest surge of stagnant water caused by extraordinary rainfall and the overflow of the Nile River affected over 220,000 people. In response to the floods, humanitarian efforts led by the UN and local authorities are underway to provide assistance. Despite the challenges, displaced families are beginning to return safely. A shallow earthquake with a magnitude of 6.1 struck Indonesia's central Papua province early on Friday, damaging several public facilities. No casualties were reported. A powerful 7.8 magnitude earthquake struck off the coast of Russia's far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula early on Friday, shaking buildings and prompting authorities to issue a tsunami alert. A series of aftershocks further rattled the region. The US Pacific Tsunami Warning Center initially issued a warning for possible hazardous waves along nearby Russian coastlines, but later lifted the alert. A magnitude 5.6 earthquake struck Chile's Tarapacá region on Friday at a depth of 89 kilometers. No casualties were reported. As the weather warms up in South Australia, residents along the coastline are being warned to keep windows and doors closed to protect against toxic algae. 30% of the state's coastline now is contaminated by this toxic algae bloom. With the Indian festival of Durga Puja just around the corner, an artist from the eastern state of Assam has crafted a stunning idol of goddess Durga entirely from discarded materials. The creation emphasizes the importance of recycling and reducing pollution. iPhone enthusiasts formed long queues outside the Apple Store in Bengaluru's Phoenix Mall of Asia as the much-anticipated iPhone 17 series went on sale today in India. In Australia, a tinsel-wrapped tray of golden mangoes fetched thousands of dollars at Brisbane Market's annual auction. The event opened with juggling and mango smoothies as bidders competed for the first tray of the season. Australian Chris Frame won the title of 2025 Mango King with a bid of $66,000, more than double the last year's amount. At the Changchun International Agriculture and Food Expo in China, visitors were amazed by giant fruits on display. Over 10 pumpkins, each weighing more than 400 kilograms, stole the show. Renowned Venezuelan-American fashion house Carolina Herrera unveiled its Spring-Summer 2026 collection in Madrid's historic Plaza Mayor. 35th annual Nobel Prize ceremony took place at Boston University on Thursday, honoring bizarre scientific discoveries. This year's winners included researchers who studied narcissists' reactions when told that they are intelligent. The ceremony featured presentations mixed with paper planes being thrown by the audience and miniature opera act singing about digestion. The IG Nobels aim to entertain while promoting global research and innovation. A boat rescued a humpback whale entangled in fishing gear off the coast of Australia's New South Wales. Kosovo's beloved tea houses are facing increasing competition from Western-style cafes and a rising coffee culture. In the northeastern city of Worcester, locals cherish the traditional slow-brewed tea served in tulip-shaped glasses. Ahead of Ice Cream Day, Rio's Biopark Zoo organized a unique environmental enrichment activity. Animals are being treated to refreshing fruit popsicles to promote their comfort and well-being before an upcoming heat wave. Endangered herbivores, long-tail leaping rodents listed on the IUCN Red List have been spotted in Turkey's Tatvan district of Bitlis. A heartwarming video showing a traffic policeman in Mongolia playfully stopping a little boy while on duty has gone viral. The video of the Mongolian cop quickly garnered thousands of views, with citizens responding warmly and highlighting that the role of police is about safeguarding the well-being of public. As Rwanda prepares to host the prestigious UCI Road World Championships for the first time, a youth cycling club in Kigali is gaining momentum. Made up of passionate riders, the club dreams of one day competing on the world stage. Imogen Poots and Brett Goldstein recently discussed their upcoming romantic drama, All of You. The film delves into the complexities of relationships. Jon Stewart made his long-awaited return to The Daily Show, delivering a sharp monologue that mocked political pressures while passionately defending free speech. Singer Lola Young made a striking appearance at H&M's London Fashion Week show, joining a stellar lineup of celebrities. The event seamlessly blended fashion with music, featuring models like Leela Moss and Romeo Beckham. The second season of TV series Gen V honors Chance Perdomo, who passed away in a 2024 tragic motorcycle accident, with a heartfelt storyline. The stars of The Summer I Turned Pretty gathered in Paris to celebrate the series finale, reflecting on the character's emotional journey. Meanwhile, Amazon MGM Studios has announced plans for a movie adaptation. The highly anticipated My Father's Shadow, Nigeria's first film to be in competition at the Cannes Film Festival, premiered in Lagos. The event was attended by filmmakers, actors and other cultural figures. Taylor Swift is set to release her upcoming album, The Life of a Showgirl. The album promises to be another chapter in her evolving musical journey. Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence have joined the cast of Martin Scorsese's upcoming directorial project, What Happens at Night. Singapore is preparing to nominate Yu Siu Hua's Stranger Eyes as its official Oscar contender for the Best International Feature Film category. A blue carpet special premiere for Nishanche was held in Mumbai, drawing a crowd for the crime saga directed by Anurag Kashyap. On to sports news now. India's junior speed skater Anish Raj on Friday clinched the bronze medal in the junior men's one-lap road sprint at the 73rd Inline Speed World Championships in China. India's long-distance runner Gulveer Singh narrowly missed out on qualification to the men's 5,000-meter final at the 2025 edition of the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, finishing at the 9th place. India takes on Oman in their last group stage match of the T20 Asia Cup in Abu Dhabi on Friday. India is likely to rest some key players ahead of their Super 4 clash with Pakistan on Sunday. Australian women's team has been penalised 10% of their match fee for slow over rate in the second ODI against India in New Chandigarh. Official song of 2025 Women's Cricket World Cup has been released. The song Bring It Home, sung by Indian singer Shreya Ghoshal, celebrates the power of dreams and perseverance at the tournament. Australian wicketkeeper batter Josh Inglis has been ruled out of the T20 International Series against New Zealand due to injury. Alex Carey has been named replacement. Australia skipper Pat Cummins said that he hoped to play all 5 Ashes tests against England, but conceded that he will need to see how his back injury holds up. India's PV Sindhu has been knocked out of the China Masters after losing the quarterfinals to world number 1 Ahn Se-young of South Korea on Friday. The globe's greatest tennis stars walked the black carpet ahead of the Laver Cup tennis tournament, which begins in San Francisco on Friday. 2024 Euro champions Spain have climbed to the top of the FIFA rankings for the first time in 11 years, while Germany has been dropped out of the top 10. Manchester City's prolific striker Erling Haaland backed a record-breaking goal as they kicked off their Champions League campaign with a 2-0 victory over the 10-man Napoli. Haaland became the quickest player in Champions League history to hit 50 goals in his 49th appearance. Marcus Rashford nets 2 goals as Barcelona beat Newcastle United 2-1 in the UEFA Champions League opener. And Benfica appointed Jose Mourinho as their new coach. The Portuguese returned to work in his homeland after 21 years. So that's it in this edition of Express News. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.